Hello once again. This is lecture 20 on the amazing power of Gematria. This lecture is going to be on, or it'll be based on a book which I wrote a while back. It's a short book. It's called The One Stick. Too small to get onto sort of Amazon. I haven't got an IBS number on it, so anybody interested in it will have to email me until I've got my own website up and running. This book is based on a section in the chapter 37 in the prophet of Ezekiel. Ezekiel in English is Ezekiel in Hebrew. Ezekiel was one of the prophets who went into exile with the children of Israel after the destruction of the first temple. The famous chapter 1 where he has a vision of the chariot of God. This particular chapter is about the unification of the two kingdoms of ancient Israel. There was a southern kingdom called Judea, which comprised of the tribe of Judah, tribe of Benjamin, and Levites who were serving in the temple at the time, and priests. And they went into exile about 100 years after the exile of the northern kingdom, which was destroyed by Sennacherib. And the northern kingdom comprised of basically 10 tribes, including also the Leviim, the Levites, who lived in the cities that were allocated to them in the northern kingdom. So there were these two kingdoms after the death of King Solomon. Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Jeroboam became the king of the northern kingdom. He wasn't of any ancestry linked to kingship. He was a general. And Rehoboam continued as the son of King Solomon to be king of the southern kingdom. And the northern kingdom went into exile first, and the way of the Assyrians was to scatter them about so that they would not be able to have any great strength. So he moved Sennacherib removed people from different countries to different countries, from country to country, so that they wouldn't be as strong. Whereas Nebuchadnezzar, in the destruction of this first temple and the exile of the southern kingdom of Judea to Babylon, the Jews were pretty well together around the rivers of the Tigris and the Euphrates, and they formed Jewish communities. The word Jew comes from Judea, Judah, even in the story of Esther, which is in the Bible. It's in the book of the writings, the third section of the Bible, which the Jews call the Tanakh. Tet for Torah, Nun for Nevi'im, prophets, and the Chaf for Ketuvim, the writings. And in the book of Esther, we find Mordechai, who's one of the heroes of the story, was a Benjaminite. He came from the tribe of Benjamin, but he's called Ha-Yehudi, the Jew, because being the biggest tribe, the name Jew seemed to have got linked to every Israelite that was in exile at that time. So, I'm just going to, this book goes through different sections of chapter 37, and I'm just going to give a little bit snippet of the beginning section, and I'm going to read the quote from Ezekiel. This is chapter 37, verses 15 to 17. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, And you, the son of man, take you one stick, and write upon it, for Judah and for the children of Israel his companions. So one stick, he's going to write on Judah, for Judah, and for the children of Israel his companions. And in Hebrew, that is, so he's going to write on Lihuda, for Judah, V'livnei Yisrael, and for the children of Israel, Chavero, his companions, his friends. And then it continues, and then take another stick and write upon it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and all of the house of Israel, his companions. In Hebrew, that is, so he takes another stick, Yosef, for Joseph, ate Ephraim, the stick of Ephraim, because Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Manasseh was the eldest, but when Jacob blesses the two sons of Joseph, he puts Ephraim before Manasseh, even though Ephraim is the younger, who will be the greater and greater in certainly in number. And since it was the largest tribe, just like Judah was the largest tribe in the southern kingdom, so Ephraim was the largest in the northern kingdom, the whole of the northern kingdom actually took on the name Ephraim as well. So it was called Israel, it was called Ephraim, different names. So it says, Yosef ate Ephraim, the stick of Ephraim, the whole Beit Yisrael Chavera, and all the house of Israel, his friends, his companions. And it finishes off and join them for you one to another into one stick, that they may become one in your hand. So he takes the two sticks. Now I've actually dug them out from my garden. A bit of old sticks here. Takes two sticks and he writes on one, Lehuda v'livnei Israel, probably in one line, probably longer sticks. We don't know exactly. And on the other stick, much longer than this, he writes upon it to Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and his companions. And he puts it together in one. This is the right way? Probably done it wrong. No, this is the right way. I've never stuck sticks together. There. Fantastic. See, whoop, magic. And he holds it in one hand, as though, like this, something like that. Okay. And they become one stick. Okay. So, bit of an illusion. What's the significance? Is because Ezekiel is prophesying that in the future, the whole of these 12 tribes or 13 tribes of Israel will come back and be one nation again in the future. This is a prophecy, perhaps, that is taking place now. In Israel, there are Jews from all over the world. There are the flashy Jews, the black Jews from Ethiopia. There were a Jewish group in India called the Bnei Israel, and they were not accepted at the beginning, like the flashes. They weren't accepted at the beginning as being Jewish, but after research, it was accepted that they were Jewish. My brother has married a Bnei Israel from India, and there may be others as well. Some say the Taliban in Afghanistan are actually from Jewish descent, and it's very possible that the Palestinians, or many of them, may have roots from Jewish sources from ancient times. So that's a different subject, about all the 12 tribes or 13 tribes of Israel. So now we're going to look at how this works out with Gematria. Put this aside, and we're going to look at some interesting links. So the verse that comes up on the first stick is to Judah and the children of Israel, his friends. So in Hebrew it is Leyehuda, V'livnei Israel, Chavero. And in Hebrew, it's given as his friend with a singular. And if I work out the placement value for that, it comes to 186 placement value. So where Lammed is the 12th letter, Yud is the 10th, He is the 5th, Vav is the 6th, all the way through, gives you 186. If I take on the other stick, was written Yosef for Joseph and the tree of Ephraim and all the children and all Israel, his friends. So Yosef, just to Joseph, we work out the normal value, we get 186. That's the normal value. In other words, this shows a sort of connection between one stick and the other stick. They already have an energy that comes together. This number 186 is actually the Gematria of Makom. Makom means place. Makom means place, and it's in the story of creation where God says, "Let the water be gathered together into one place. I've had to say the word one because makom is also an aspect of unity, and that also equals 186 as the normal value. Connected to that is, on a different topic, is God's name, which I might talk about on another occasion because it's very interesting. The idea, when I'll talk about Einstein's theory of relativity and how God's name is linked to that, because taking God's four-letter name, Yud, K, Vav, K, if you square each value, where Yud is 10 and you square 10 is 100, He is the fifth letter, squares 25, Vav is 6 is 36, and He is 25. You'll get, if you add them together, what we call the sum of squares is 186. That's another story. We won't go into that now, but that's how God's name is connected to place. God's name is connected to time because the name Yud K Vav K is a superposition, I think I have mentioned this before, of Haya, Hove, Yihiyeh, which means he was, he is, and he will be. So his name, the actual writing of this name, represents time in completeness, past, present, and future. And his name, using the square value, because square is already the idea of area, gives a value which is connected to space or place. Okay, so we've connected the name Judah. If I now take Judah to Joseph, to that phrase, if I now take the two names Yehuda and Joseph, I'm going to keep the verse up there. So we've got Yehuda, Yehuda. Yehuda, you should notice, has got God's name there. It's Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, with a Dalet. So this Dalet is added to it. The actual word Hoda means to have thanks to, or to acknowledge. And Judah was, his primal character trait was that he acknowledged his fault when he got Tamar pregnant, and then she was accused for adultery, and then he admitted that it was his fault. So that's the quality of Judah, of being someone who admits fault, acknowledges where he is. But we won't go into that. That's just Yehuda, and he's got God's name in it because that's what his main connection needs to be to fulfill his mission on earth. So Yosef, which means to add, here's Yosef. Now we're going to use what we call the normal values again. Yehuda is 10, 5 and 5 is 10, 6 and 4 is 10, is 30. 10, 20, 30. And Yosef is 156. So if and this is normal value, if I add those, I get 186 again. So Joseph and Yehuda together is also 186. They're the ones that came together when Judah approaches Joseph in Egypt, when Joseph was in Egypt and he was going to keep Benjamin back as his slave. And Judah confronts, draws near to Joseph and confronts him. So, we now move on. So we're told that he has to hold them in his hand in order that they should become אחדים בידך, one, together in his hand. So, first of all, what was written on the second stick was LeYosef. I think I'm going to write this in black. Try that one. So it comes out. So, and the second stick was LeYosef. LeYosef ate Ephraim. V'chol Yisrael This pen's running out. V'chol Yisrael Chavero. Just to the script one, sort of a block. Chavero. And that has the placement value of 100. I'm going to put that pen down to see if this one's better. This has a placement of 315. That's placement value. So we've had the placement value for this one, 186. That's the placement value. And the placement value of Yosef Ephraim, V'chol Yisrael Chavero. This is using the normal placement value. I'm not taking the mems and the final letters to be the alternative values. This is plain normal placement value for all letters. If I add the two together, 186 plus 315, I'll get 1, 0. I'll get 501. That is the placement value of both phrases together. Okay? Now they're going to come together into one stick in his hand. Achdim biyadecha. So now we take the Hebrew word Achdim biyadecha. I'm going to rub this one out now. Achdim biyad. Square. Biyadecha. You can see that. Biyadecha. No, it doesn't got a final U. Achdim biyadecha. So, and now I'm going to use the large value. Remember, we're using the English here. We're taking the letter Aleph, which is 1, and we're saying that the word 1 equals 34 in placement value. And Chet is the 8th letter, and the word 8 in English is 49. Dalet is 4. 4, and 4 is 60, etc. If we go, and we're using the large value for each of these, 39, 60, Chaf is the 11th letter, which is 63. If I add all that together, that should be an 8. If I add that all together, I will get 501. And that's the large value of the Hebrew letters. So you can see that the two phrases, the Yosef Uvnei Yisrael Chavero and Yehuda V'livnei Yisrael Chavero and the Yosef Ephraim V'chol Yisrael Chavero, which equals 105 in the placement value, is the large value of Achdim biyadecha. So there's a little bit of magic going on here. And notice that I'm using the English with Hebrew, which really demonstrates you can't understand this, you can't see this without the English, which is a Paladika thing. It's an amazing kind of idea that the English is actually intrinsically interwoven with the Hebrew. And that's not where it all ends, because there are other languages that I can show this as well. Greek, for example, Latin. So the story is quite immense. So now, he's told to join them together in his hand. So he says, join them in your hand. Now, if I do Achadim biyadecha, and I take the placement value, this is all these values here, 2, 10, 4, and 11. Now, if I add those, can't be. It must be the normal value, not the placement value. So the normal value is 40, and that's 20. Can't be in writing. Looks like a PDF. Let's test this one out. So I'm going to check it. That's 30, 36, 76, 86, 90, 99. I might have made a mistake somewhere. Let's have a look. 20, 30, 36, 76, 86. Yeah, it doesn't look right. I made a mistake in that one. We'll leave that one out. Not important. Alright, so that I will check up later. So he's told to do it in your hand. So we take now the English word in your hand. I'll rub this off. That's the English word for this translation of Biyadech is in your hand. In your hand. And if I work out the placement value for that, in is 23, your is 79, hand is 27, and I add that together, I'll get 19, carry 1, I've got 4 and 7 is 11, 12, I get 129. And now we take join, to join them in your hand. So we're going to use the normal value here, that was the placement value. The normal value is 10, 60, 9 and 50 is 129 normal value. So in your hand, join together in your hand the same Gematria. So it does look quite complex, but okay. So that is all I'm going to say on that book. There's plenty more on it, on the different sections, if you're interested in it. Just sort of added thing, which is going to be in another book, which I am planning to write on the anatomy of the body, because just when I wrote the word hand, it's an interesting word, because the word hand equals 27, and the placement value, which we just had, and the 27 bones in the hand. Okay, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 phalanges. 14 phalanges, the N is 14. There are 5 metacarpal bones, which you can't really see in the hand. They are so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're parts of the phalanges. They're extending down in the hand. Okay, so you get 5 of those, which one is for the thumb, and the others are the fingers. And that's 5. That's 1 there, and 4 there, which equals 5. And of course you've got 1, 4 is 14. By the way, in Hebrew, the Hebrew word for hand is yad. In yadecha, your hand. The chaf at the end is your, yad is hand. Yad is 10 plus 4 is 14. When people shake hands, put their hands together, there's 2 hands, is 14 and 14, which is 28, and that's the Gematria of koach. Hebrew word koach means strength, and so or power. So 2 hands is power. 2 hands is power between 2 people, or 2 hands in a person's body. You can do a lot more with 2 hands. So, and we haven't finished the story there, because we've got carpals as well, and we have 8 carpals. So therefore we have 8 carpals, 5 metacarpals, and 14 phalanges, all giving you the 27 bones in the hand, and that is how the word hand represents the hand by the bones. The very basics. You're going to ask the question, can this be done with other things? Well, you have to wait. I've got some more on the hand yet to show, and that will probably be in my book. So, thank you for listening. Give me a like, and as I said, if you're interested in the one stick, it's available from Wild Discoverers, from me at my email address at the moment, and if you see it later, if you see my website down below, then you know that you've watched this at a later time, and you can order it from my website as well. Have a good week, and hope you'll be back for the next lecture, which I said would be on the number 666, and got some interesting things to share on that. I will not tell you the whole story. I will be some little taste about it, another large subject. Have a good week. Bye-bye.